What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day as always. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Super close to 3,000 subscribers, which is so awesome. So thank you guys so much for the support. Also, quick update on the website. It should be live tomorrow. We're actually installing the first product we're going to be offering for the WJ today. We should wrap it up tomorrow or tonight, and then it should be live tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. But with all that being said, let's go over today's video. So these are going to be 5 common issues with the Jeep WJ, or things to look out for before you buy one if you're going to buy it. Things to check that might be worn or broken, or if you're just having some weird issues with your Jeeps, this could be your solution. Also, if you guys think of anything other besides these 5 things I'm going to list, make sure you comment them down below. That way we can help out new Jeep owners, new WJ owners. If they have some issues and they're checking out this video, we can help them out. So let's hop out of the Jeep and see what's up. Alright guys, so we all know these things are really cool to build. They're pretty unique and they're a lot of fun, but they do have their fair share of issues. And that list is longer than 5, but that's how many I'm going to list today, so that way I can list the major things. So for starters, number 1 is probably the most common issue with WJs, and it happens to be this wiring harness that goes in your door. So behind this rubber piece is a bunch of wires, and those wires control this panel here and a couple other things, but mainly that panel. So what that does is, from opening and closing so many times throughout the life of the Jeep, those wires get worn in there and those wires break. And what that will do is it won't give this panel any power, or it'll cut off a switch, and that won't allow your windows to go down, any other things. And that can be any of the 4 windows. Anything that's controlled by that panel can go bad if you mess up those wires. Now, while we're on the topic of windows, let's go over the next thing, and it's the window regulator. These things are junk in the WJ for some reason. I've replaced so many on the black WJ. I've replaced the back passenger one probably 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure what's up with that, but they go bad all the time. And if your windows aren't working, I would check your window regulator. Then I would check that wiring harness. If those 2 things don't happen, then I'm not sure. Odds are it's one of those 2 things, so make sure you check that out. Now, the next thing on the list is actually going to be a spot that has a lot of rust issues on the WJ. Let me show you what I'm talking about on this one. So as you can see, down here is basically a pocket for mud, water, all that to collect and just sit there. And what that's going to do is rust away the metal behind it. And a lot of WJs have rust issues right there. So if you're going to pick one up, make sure you guys go ahead and check there. And honestly, the solution to that problem would be cutting it off, just like we did on the blue WJ. So now we can't collect mud and water and everything there. It did have a little bit of rust though. Next thing on the list is also going to be kind of rust related. So in my engine bay is actually my evap system. So I actually did not know that they could be in the engine bay until I purchased this Jeep. And I'm super glad it's up here, and you'll see why in a second. So mine up here is protected from all the elements and everything for the most part. But my other one was located right behind the bumper right here. And what that did was the tires kicked up salt and rocks and mud and water, and it just collected there and rusted that out so bad I could not even get it off this Jeep. We had to cut it off in order to get it out. So that is another thing to look out for as far as rust goes. That one's relatively easy to fix. You can get the part for maybe 30-40 bucks online and then go ahead and replace it. That one is fairly simple. That one's not too bad, but those are 2 common rust issues on the WJ. Next up is going to be the drive shaft. This is also a very common issue. These go bad when you put a lift kit on it, honestly, of any size. The CV joints that they use just can't handle a lift. They can't handle the angle that it has after a lift. So there's a couple things you can do. You can drop your transfer case down a little bit, which I'm not about to do, or you can get custom drive shafts. That's what I'm doing with this. I'm going to get custom Adams drive shafts front and rear on this Jeep. But these CV joints are just terrible if you're going to lift your Jeep. So my recommendation would be replacing it. I'm actually going to show you on the black one how to replace this with a junkyard or drive shaft off of another Jeep. So keep an eye out for that in the future. But these joints just aren't really good if you're going to lift your Jeep. They're not designed for these massive tires we put on them or the massive lifts we put on them. So that's just another very common issue that fails a lot on the Jeep WJs, and I'm sure you guys have heard of that one. Next up is actually in the interior of the Jeep. And this is probably one of the more annoying things that can go wrong with your Jeep, and it's located right behind your dash. Now, if you guys haven't guessed it, it's the blend door. What that does is when you're going from AC to heat and all that, it controls that basically. And it's located back there, which is so annoying. You either have to take most of your dash apart or drop your glove box down, cut behind it to access it. But it's super annoying to have to fix that. It's such a small thing, but it's such an annoying thing at the same time. And that wraps up this video, basically. Those are the top 5 things. Well, I actually give you 6 things. Top 6 things that I think are major issues with the WJ. Very common issues, things you're probably going to run into if you own one. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if I missed anything, make sure you guys go ahead and comment it down below. That way we can help out new WJ owners, new Jeep owners, all that. Also, keep in mind, website's going live tomorrow. Super excited for that. So I'll see you guys in a video tomorrow.